Hey, welcome back, podcast friends, for another episode. And this is another interview with Jennie Rodriguez. And this is someone who I had gone and I had talked to their dental office, and she was one of the ones in the dental office. And she just instant messaged me on Facebook with a fabulous story. And I thought that you guys might want to hear this story also because I think it might hit home with a lot of you. So, Jennie, I'll just let you take it over from here and just kind of tell everybody your story.
Yes. So my name is Jennie. I'm a dental assistant with Parkcrest Dental. I have four kids, 22, 20, 17, and 16. 12 animals. Um, I, yeah, people usually think that's the crazier part than
Yeah.
It
four
is.
kids close together, but they're my kids too. Um, we've got anything from dogs to little critters, so a little of everything. Um, I've been a dental assistant since 1998, and I love it. Um, I've always struggled kind of with my weight for the last 10 years, and finally I'm finding a way to get it off the natural way with no drugs or shots or fads or anything, just eating healthy. And I got kind of thrown into this, trying to do a memorial for my friend's son who had been passed away for 10 years. And this was kind of a jump start for me. We were supposed to walk a mile at least every day, and I kind of took that and started into 2 miles, and then 2 miles went to 3 miles, and eventually I did do 15 miles, which was crazy, and my kids thought I was crazy. I didn't realize really how far 15 miles was, I guess. He would have been 15 this year, and that's why I did the 15 miles, but I did it. Um, I'm down 13 pounds since July 1st. I do have rheumatoid arthritis. My whole diet has changed, my nutrition, my outlook on exercise, everything. I never would have been able to walk as far as I have if I hadn't have started eating better as well. So the two definitely go hand in hand. But after walking maybe a week, I decided I'm going to eat a little bit better. And with Steve's help, I listened to his podcast every walk. Sometimes two podcasts if I could fit it in, depending on how long my walk was.
Oh, I bet that
Um,
was fun.
it is. And funny side note, I think I told you this, Steve. If it would get a little bit dark, I would always hold the phone up to my face. So it was like I was talking to him. So people would think I was talking to a male. So thank you for that.
That's
Um,
right. I'll save your
so
life in all kinds of ways.
exactly. So with every podcast, I was learning so much from you, Steve, and I just kind of went with it and changed my entire way of eating, and that just made me walk further and further. And now I'm walking 5 to 6 miles a day. Try to.
Yeah.
And I can't even fathom. I do sometimes. I do cheat. I'm obviously not perfect, but I normally cannot fathom carbs or my kids' cereal. I am trying really hard to get
Good.
them my direction as well, but it is hard. They're teenagers.
Mhm.
Um, but I changed like my carbs. I just can't do it. Or soda. I haven't had soda since July 1st, which is huge. I
And you
just
used
have
to
like,
drink soda a lot, right?
yes, at least two Dr. Peppers a night. So a lot.
Now, was that a
um,
can of Dr. Pepper or was it
yes,
even bigger? Okay.
a can. Yeah, yeah. So um, with my rheumatoid, I was having a hard time with finding a new doctor, and I've not had a doctor since December of 2024.
And you've had
He
rheumatoid arthritis for how long?
um 16 years.
For 16
So
years.
yeah,
And you've been treated with medication this whole time.
many different medications. Yeah. And even with medications, I was just so stiff waking up. You first put those feet on the floor and you can hardly walk, and it's awful. My fingers, being a dental assistant, I need my hands, and that's what really affected me. My fingers would be swollen. I was literally living on 4 ibuprofen at a time.
Mhm.
Um, 2 ibuprofen wouldn't even touch it. So after walking and eating better, getting all those carbs and processed foods out of my system, a couple, 2, 3 weeks went by, and I just kind of realized I'm not really hurting. I haven't taken ibuprofen. And it just dawned on me
Huh.
it's because of how I'm eating.
Yeah.
And it's getting up and moving my joints. And I know you did a podcast on inflammation and how you have to move and
Yes.
get those joints going. And it's true. I thought, oh, I'm in pain. I need to sit. I need to lay in bed all day. But once you do it and keep moving, it really, really makes a difference. So
Right.
Dr. Dills is usually right. We won't tell him that though. And so he won't listen. So he had been, kind of just here and there, giving little tidbits in my ear, like, Jenny, you really shouldn't have that much soda and all that. Don't put that junk in your body. So once I started eating better and realized it's true, like all this processed food is gone and I don't hurt at all. I very rarely take ibuprofen. I haven't taken my any rheumatoid meds since middle of July, maybe. And
Really?
it's amazing
Oh,
how much
yeah.
better I feel.
Especially having it for 16 years on meds. And I'm assuming you had adverse effects to the medications too?
Yeah, I think a lot of it between having thyroid issues as well, between the
Mhm.
thyroid and the rheumatoid, I gained a lot of weight. And just, so much swelling regardless if, I was on the meds, with just how I felt. I was just always swollen. My fingers were awful.
Yeah.
And I really don't have a lot of swelling at all really anymore.
Really? And your kids, you say you're trying to stay away from all the ultra processed carbohydrates, all the man-made food. Are the kids, are they doing fine with that, or they still want that
They still
food manufacturer stuff too?
No,
they do. My son, he's the oldest, he's 22. He's really trying hard. He's very tall and skinny, and he's kind of taken a different route than I am as far as he's wanting to gain weight and bulk up a little bit because he
Right.
weighs as much as I do, but he's taller than me. So he's trying to eat a lot of protein, which I do too. But he's eating a lot, where I am actually also doing intermittent fasting.
Good
So
deal.
I'm not eating like him, but he is seeing me, and I think, you know, I'm wearing off on him a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he is trying to eat a lot better than, we got rid of the milk. I know you did a podcast on milks and stuff too.
Yeah,
Um,
whole milk is fine. It's all
Raw,
the
raw,
skim and
raw.
1%.
Well, the raw milk is
Oh,
better.
yeah.
yeah, I can't remember what the name of that milk was, that one you recommended.
Uh,
I don't either.
we just get it. We just get it from we get it from a local farmer.
Yeah.
When we get milk, we just get it from a
Yeah,
local
from
farmer.
Marionville.
Yeah.
They have
Oh,
raw
okay.
milk. Yeah, they have raw milk out there. But anyway.
Yeah, so little things like that. He's eating a lot of eggs. Oh, that was the other thing I was talking to you about, Steve. I had awful IBS, more cramping
Oh,
with
that's
any
right.
food I ate. This between this and the rheumatoid, it's amazing because I could not eat an egg without doubled over in pain. Literally, I'd be in a fetal position with cramping stomach.
And how long have
And
you had IBS?
oh, at least 15 years,
Oh my
maybe.
gosh.
Awful.
And me and my mom has it, my sister has it. It's kind of, I guess, hereditary. My grandpa had it, and it's just kind
And
of,
it's so hard to tell on hereditary, because there's so many things that people think are genetic.
right.
And really it's just because all their families do the same thing. They eat the same type of food. They do the same kind of activity. So a lot of these conditions are in families, but it doesn't mean it's genetic. It just means you eat the same stuff and you
Mhm.
basically do the same types of activity. So it's really hard
Right.
to, tweeze that out. Which one is
Mhm.
really a big one.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to keep interrupting. So you had
No,
the
you're fine.
IBS. So you had the IBS. You've had it for about 15 years now. And then what happened?
So I could hardly eat anything. It was getting to the point where I couldn't have salad without my stomach cramping. I couldn't have. It was kind of hit or miss. And I was eating like Andes, sometimes Andes would hurt my stomach, or, milk, dairy, stuff like that. So then we thought, well, maybe we're, lactose intolerant. Well, it wasn't that. Avocados, I couldn't eat avocados. I couldn't, there's just so many foods that I just could not eat. But eggs were my biggest trigger where I knew my stomach was going to hurt. My kids would even see me eating some type of something with egg, and they're like, "Mom, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "It's fine. I'll just take a pill, because there's
Take a
many
pill.
yeah. But now I eat 4 to 5 eggs every morning, and I'm perfectly fine. It's amazing. I can eat whatever I want, and my stomach's not hurting anymore.
That is absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
And when did that start? When did you start kind of testing it to see that you were getting better?
Well, I knew I really wanted to eat eggs because I knew it was a good source of protein, easy way to get protein.
And cholesterol and fat. I mean, it's got everything. It's a superfood.
I thought, hard boiled, or, because sometimes I could make a hard boiled egg and it would make my stomach hurt. Sometimes I could eat a hard boiled egg and it wouldn't make my stomach hurt.
Really?
So it was always really just hit or miss. I don't know. So I thought, well, I'll try to make some hard boiled eggs because I do love them. And it didn't make my stomach hurt. And then I made some over easy in the morning, and I made a couple, and I brought my pills with me just in case, but I was fine. And then I thought, well, I'm going to eat a few more eggs to try to, make myself stay full longer. And I was fine. So I've been eating 4 to 5 eggs, try 2 in the morning if I have time, and I'm fine. It's crazy.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. To go from having IBS and having rheumatoid arthritis and not being able to get out of bed without it being in pain, not being able to eat anything without pain, and
I was a mess.
and all these medications that you were on, and now you take nothing for IBS, you take nothing for rheumatoid arthritis, and you're talking about we were talking just a little bit about your thyroid. And that is one of the things that, we started talking about is a lot of times they're finding now that a lot of people are having, if a lot of people say they have thyroid problems because they're obese, and very seldom is that the case, but it can be. And that's because a lot of people are low on iodine because we don't get iodine like we used to. And they were putting in salt, but now a lot of people are afraid of salt, which they shouldn't be, unless you actually have renal problems. But so they're not even getting their iodine from the salt anymore. And so that's why they think they're starting to see a lot more of these thyroid issues. But the people that we've been following, which do lots of studies in this, they recommend getting the little Lugol solution, little bottle of straight iodine. And I think ours is 5%.
5%.
And I do 5 drops in my coffee every morning, and she does 8 drops in her coffee every morning. And it's just for that. It's to help with that. So it's basically, I mean, it's better than even doing levothyroxine. Teresa was on levothyroxine for a little bit too. It's like, let's just stop it. Let's do this instead. And as far as I know, she doesn't have any of her symptoms coming back. Right?
Yeah, that's what I was on too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I went off.
But if you want to know anything about that, let me know, and I can send you a picture of what it looks like and everything. But that's and we just started doing that probably about 6
months ago.
Yeah, about 6 months.
Yeah.
But if it helps, that's one thing you can definitely try. It's definitely not gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so when you started doing this, what was the first thing? Was pop was the very first thing that you said, okay, this is the first thing I need to give up?
Yeah, because I knew I was drinking too much of it anyways.
Yeah, if you're drinking any at all, that's too much.
Yeah.
Of all the horrible ways to put sugar in your body, the liquid form is by far the worst you could do. And and that's why you hear that all the time. It's like, man, I lost 10 pounds and all I did was stop drinking pop. It's like, well, that should tell you something,
Yeah.
And everybody knows that you fatten cows up, you grass feed them, and then you feed them grains to fatten them up, before they go to the slaughterhouse. And you think people understand that too. It's like, oh, you give grains to fatten up cattle to go to slaughter, and then you give us grains and say that's healthy. It's like, does that not, that makes no sense at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after the pop, what was, or soda pop, whatever it's called.
Dr. Pepper.
That's right. I call it pop. I'm from Kansas City, so I call it pop. But
yeah, I'm from California. We call it soda.
Yeah, St. Louis calls it soda. So besides the soda, was there any other major thing that what was the big thing that you switched? You thought, man, I could never do without this, and now you're not having it at all. Was there anything like that?
soda was a big thing, but bread, I'm, trying to avoid the pastas. I really haven't had pasta either in
Mhm.
a while. But again, like my walk started, the first few nights I was looking back because on our calendar that my friend gave us to track our, commitment to it, I had told her, well, I work long hours. I may not be able to do it every night. But then I don't know, something inside me was just like, no, I got to do this for her, So it
Yep.
started out as, I she lost her child, in a very tragic way. And I'm like, I can do this. It's not, and I do have 3 dogs out of the 12, or 3 dogs. And one is a little rambunctious and too much work. The other one just couldn't make it. So I take my husky with me. And she's gone, maybe she'll go about 5 miles and then she's done. So if I want to go farther, I don't take her with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I just took her with me every night. And started out again, like I said, 1 mile, 2 miles. So after about a week, I'm I am looking forward to this now.
Yep.
Where, before it was like, no, I have to, but now I want to do it every night. So
Yep.
I think with that, and then I started seeing the weight come off, and I'm like, I'm just going to start eating better. And because I was working so hard on the walks, I
Uh-huh.
thought, well, let's just go with this. And then that's when I just started no soda. I do
Yeah.
still struggle with getting enough water. Um, I think I stay busy during the day, so it's
Mhm.
hard to go get a drink, but I'm trying really, really hard to try to find ways to drink the water. But definitely no soda or sugary drinks at all.
Mhm.
Right. Good deal.
Did
Yeah.
you
No,
replace that with anything? Because you drank that in the evening, right? Is that right?
The
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 soda.
Dr. Pepper's?
That's when I would drink soda usually. Yeah.
Do you just drink water at night then?
Yeah, that's all I've had. I drink unsweet tea. I really like unsweet
Yeah.
tea.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yep.
drink
That's
that
good.
too.
And they've got so many good flavors of that
Yeah,
also.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Um,
I don't mind it. People think it's disgusting, but I'm like,
Oh,
once you have it, and like my salads, my son was like, and my kids were like, "Don't you want ranch?" I'm like, "No, I just have the extra virgin olive
mhm.
oil, and you
yep.
take a bite with that with some like a tomato with your egg,
Mhm.
and it just all adds flavor, and it's really,
Uh-huh.
really good."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And good for you.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's so horrible. You look at all these salad dressings and all the
Mm.
seed oils they put in this stuff is horrible. And then they go and they start saying, fat free and low fat, and you just see that all the fat they take out, they just add sugar into it. It's really criminal what they do. But they make money, you know. Um,
Yeah.
so do you have a water bottle? You're saying it's kind of hard to get your water in during the day. Do you have a water bottle that you carry, or do you have a place where you can leave it and you tend to go back to, like a desk or
I
something?
Yeah, we have little cabinets, and I've got it right by my room. So I've tried to, say, well, I'll go get when I go walk up to get my patient, I'll take a drink. Well, sometimes I just get busy.
I forget.
Yeah.
But I did start using a water bottle that has like the um, time measurements
Uh-huh.
Oh,
on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Seen those.
So it really does help you. So, but sometimes I look and it's like 10:30 and I haven't even drinking past 8 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, I need to hurry up and get some water in me. But
That's
it,
that's why we
it's
like the
hard.
bottles. The
Yeah,
the
it
bottle
is.
it's hard to keep track, oh, let's see, I went and got a drink here and then I went and got a drink here. That's why if you have a bottle, you just know I need to get 3 of these bottles in a day, or 2 of these bottles, or whatever, depending on how big your bottle is. But it's easier to
Yeah.
keep track of the number of bottles than it is the number of times you drank, the number, how much ounces and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But it's not that exact. But have you gotten the one? Do you know how much water you should be having?
Um, that was actually a question I had. I've heard you say that you need to drink half your weight in the ounces, but do it for the weight that you should be.
Mhm.
Yes.
So
Yes,
that's what I
exactly.
was kind of confused on why you would do that way rather than the weight you are now.
Because the weight you're on now has a lot of fat in it. And so the water's
Oh,
not
okay.
really going into distributing any of that. So you're actually distributing into your lean body mass, because that's your, I mean, fat is active. The fat
Okay.
cells produce a lot of hormones and stuff like that. But as far as your water, if you just do that, because I mean, there's some people, like I said on here, there's a friend of mine, he weighed 525 pounds, where I would never, ever have him weigh, drink 525 ounces
Yeah.
of water a day. I mean,
half that.
Huh?
It'd be half that.
yeah, half that.
Yeah,
Say-
still,
yeah,
that's a lot.
still, yeah.
You'd be going to the bathroom all the
Yeah.
time.
But yeah, so
Yeah.
that's a good rule of thumb. And as far as your protein is the same. It goes off the ideal body weight also, but then you should just have anywhere from 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So
Ideal.
Okay.
your
Also-
ideal body
yeah,
weight. So
also ideal.
so whatever, say your ideal is 130. So that means 130 grams of protein. And that's not the same as
Okay.
ounces. Like if you have an ounce of meat, that's depending on what the meat is, there's different amounts. There's thinking in beef. Do you usually eat beef or chicken or
Both.
both?
Mhm.
So beef is around 6 grams per ounce, and chickens
7 or 8. It has more.
might be 7. I think it's 7, or I think it's like 7 around there. 6 or 7 grams per ounce is, if you're trying to figure out and trying to get your amount of protein.
So like 4
in.
ounces is usually pretty good for a meal.
Uh,
So then you're
yeah.
at 30-ish, so that's a good. Well, and then if you're intermittent fasting, so what does that look like for you?
So recently I've feel like I've kind of hit a plateau with the weight loss because I
Mhm.
still have 15 pounds I'd like to lose.
Mhm.
So I've changed up the intermittent fasting where I'm skipping breakfast and I just eat lunch. We always take lunch from 12 to 1.
Mhm.
So I'll eat my lunch and then eat dinner usually around 6 and then that's it.
Mhm.
Okay. Yep. That's a 6-hour window. That's great.
Mhm. Yeah, sometimes people just kind of struggle with getting in enough protein,
Yeah.
just eating twice a day. But,
Yeah.
if you can get 4 or 6 ounces at lunch and then the same at dinner, you're getting close.
Yeah. I've done that. I've also done a little bit of the OMAD, the 1 meal a day,
Uh-huh.
which I would do dinner because I don't like to not eat with my kids. So
Right.
I choose that meal to
Mhm.
eat.
Yep.
Mhm.
So, but I
How did
kind
that go? Did that go
really
okay, or were you
fine.
starving?
No, because I think I stay so busy.
Mhm.
And then at lunch I can sit in my car and watch Netflix or go for a walk if I can. But sometimes our lunches aren't the full 1 hour,
Yeah.
so I'll just
Now, when you were going for your walks, what did you have? Like, did you drive somewhere and walk, or did you just walk around your block, or where do you walk?
I started by my house, over by Wilson's Creek area, if you're familiar with
Oh,
like
nice.
Battlefield.
Yeah.
So I would try to do at least 3 laps there, and then the parking lot of Wilson's Creek School, actually, if you walk like the entire edges, the sidewalks, and then border the entire parking lot, you could get in like a mile,
Yeah.
almost a mile. So I would do that 3 times. Or I would do the neighborhoods. We would come out. My dog was really funny. She started to know which direction we were going to go next. So she got pretty smart. Then we would go through some neighborhoods, depending on time of day. I try to stay on the lit, more lit streets, and then come out by a church, and then I would walk that parking lot a few times and again border all the edges of the parking lot so that it gave me a little bit extra distance to go.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And the fact that you're listening to whatever, whether you listen to podcasts or books or something, that's another great time to do that. If there's a lot of stuff that you want to listen to or that you read, because we listen a lot of Audible books too. But that's a wonderful, and that's what we'll do when we go for our walks. We'll each put our beats in our ears and we'll listen to the same book or listen to the same podcast, as we're walking together. And I've been able to read so many more books now that I've started stacking, doing stuff like that, like while you listen to something. There was something else I was going to ask you.
I don't know.
I have really, really almost depended on your podcast a little bit, but
Good.
But I mean, I really have learned so much from walking, and listening to the podcast while I've walked may have pushed me a little bit more into the nutrition. But I have recommended your podcast to so many people, telling people you will learn so much from him. Like, it has completely changed my life between committing to walking to listening to the podcast. My kids, I think, I'm so sorry, Steve, but I think they're so tired of me saying, well, Steve says this, well, Steve says that. You can't do that. Steve
Yep.
wouldn't want you to do that. You're not supposed to eat that. Steve
Right.
says so.
So they don't
Oh,
like
great. So your kids hate me and I've never met them.
They're a little burnt out on Steve, but that's fine.
I affect people that way. That's what I was going to ask. You said your mom and your siblings have also been suffering from
IBS.
the IBS.
My son does, my mom, and then my sister, and then my grandpa did. Her dad, my mom's dad. So kind of
Are
on her
they
side.
are they still alive? I mean, like, have you talked
My
to them
grandpa
about
is
this?
not. My mom still suffers with it. She also, I'd really like to. She's, my mom, and I'm sure she's gonna listen to this, so I'll be careful. But she, she's kind of set in her ways. So, but trying to get her to walk, I really wish she would start walking and eating better, because she actually does. She's so bad off with her RA. She does IV therapy every 6 weeks, and does infusions. So she was supposed to, she lives in Carthage, so she was supposed to drive down and couldn't because her knee had hurt so bad. So she was like laid up for a couple days because of her knee had a flare up in it really bad. So I would love for her to, start on the same track I am. Maybe let her borrow your book, and try to get her to start eating the right way and moving a little bit more.
I wish people really don't understand all the inflammation that fructose causes, which is what's in sugar and what's in high fructose corn syrup. And then all the inflammation from these seed oils, all, safflower oil, canola oil, Crisco, all of them, soybean oil, all those seed oils. Those, when those were first used, they were always used on machinery. They've always been machinery oils. They never fed that to humans until Procter and Gamble got a hold of the cotton seeds back in 1920. And ever since that, he started making seed oils from that, and then going around trying to convince everybody that these are great for them, which is absolutely horrible. And it just got worse and worse and worse from there. And the inflammation that's caused by these seed oils are absolutely ungodly. If she could just stop fructose, stop sugar, and stop eating the ultra processed man-made food that has all these seed oils in it. And look at it. It's in your bread. It's in all the condiments, and everything that man makes has seed oils in it because it's cheap. It's really cheap, and sugar. But if she could stop those, I mean, if she's got an inflammatory issue and she keeps eating this inflammatory foods, she won't get better. And medicines do not cure anything. Those medicines don't cure anything. All these are doing is just treating the symptoms, and so the underlying is just going to keep getting worse and worse. Yeah, and evidently they're not doing a very good job either, and they all have adverse effects. All drugs have adverse effects. So no matter what medicines she's on, I mean, if she could clean up her diet, chances are she's going to be able to get off the medication. Just make sure the physician knows so he can start weaning her down, because it will happen. But just like blood pressure, do you have blood pressure issues or anything like that?
I do not. She might, but I do not.
Okay, good. And if you keep going what you're doing, you won't have to worry about it either.
Right.
Right.
Because it's crazy how this is all interconnected. All the things that we're seeing, all the heart disease we're seeing, all the Alzheimer's we're seeing, the blood pressure we're seeing, cancers, skin conditions, rheumatoid arthritis, all these inflammatory conditions, all this stuff. We hardly ever saw this until around the 60s, 70s. And then all of a sudden, all those have just skyrocketed. So you got to look at what's changed, and that's it.
Yeah.
Our dietary guidelines.
Well, and I think, the biggest thing you can do is not be hounding your mother or anything,
Yeah.
but, just lead by example. It's like, man, it just feels so good to not have pain. And, I think some people just have lived with pain for so long, and you probably can agree. It's like, you just almost feel like this is just normal. This is just normal for me anyway.
Yeah. And that's how I think I was.
Yeah.
And it's really sad. People do have that idea. I'm just getting older. That's what happens to get older. You start having aches and pains and all this. Like, no, that is not true. That's just what people have become used to, because everywhere they look, doctor's office, medical, they're all telling them the exact same thing. There's no no pill's going to cure that, but we can try to keep your symptoms down. And they're right. No pill will cure it. It's got to be your nutrition. Just give your body what it needs. I can't believe you done what you did. That was fun.
Mhm.
As soon as you sent that email and I saw that, because my brother suffers from arthritis also, and he's on the meds, and that's why I know he doesn't. I don't think he listens to my podcast or anything. Your family is usually the last one to ever listen to anything you do. But I wish he would, because I've been trying to tell him that this works. This can actually get rid of your medications and everything. And so it's nice to finally have somebody on here. We see him all the time when we go to these conferences. There's always people out there that talk about getting rid of their rheumatoid arthritis, getting rid of their cancer. There were some people that we've seen. One guy, he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer, went total carnivore, and it's gone.
Mhm.
I've always been taught that never happens. Pancreatic cancer, once you have it, it's a death sentence. You're just period. And it's because I just keep reading the medical literature. I'm not looking at the actual people, the ones who are doing this. So this whole nutrition thing, and I just got into this, like I said, 4 years ago. And it just opened my eyes to so many things. And it's so neat going to these conferences, and you see all these patients that go to these conferences also, and they are ecstatic. I mean, they are so happy, just like you were when you emailed me. I could tell you were excited. That's why I wanted to have you on here. I mean, I have to say that was probably the longest longest message I've ever gotten on Facebook. I thought, okay, this girl wants to talk, and I know just the place she can do it.
I was really, really excited to, I guess, tell you that everything you're teaching people really works, and your podcasts are really, it helped me. So hopefully other people will listen and, believe it, because it's, amazing. But now, like, you've said, it's a lifestyle change. Like, I would not, I wouldn't fathom putting anything like, Fruity Pebbles that's on top of my fridge right now. Like, it's just,
Right. Yeah.
you just look at every food different. I'm reading ingredients now. I'm like, oh, if that's got seed oils, I can't have that. I can't. If that's got vegetable oil, nope, I can't have that. Or, just all the little ingredients you've talked about. I, read everything now with my readers, because I'm there. But
Same here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's all these are, our readers.
Yeah. We couldn't see you without them.
Yeah. So sometimes I'm at the store and I'm like trying to read and I can't see it. So I'm trying to hold it way out in front of me. I'm like, I don't know if I can eat this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, if there's a label on it, chances are you should not be eating it. That's most of what labels are, just telling you all the chemicals that they're putting in this food that's killing us.
Yeah, true.
And that's just like people, all the people who are worried about gluten. Oh, even serious like celiac disease. Oh, you got to be so careful. They put gluten in everything. No, they don't. Gluten is a protein. It's a wheat, rye, and barley protein. So if you're not eating wheat, barley, and rye, or things made out of that, then you don't have to worry about gluten. It just so happens that man-made food makes all their stuff out of that stuff. That's how they make their flour and everything. So if you're eating that stuff, you do have to worry about it. But man, if there's anybody out there with celiac disease, if you just stick to real meat, a little bit of vegetables, and even less fruit, you're going to be amazed at how much better you're going to be able to do. That you do not have to worry about gluten in any of that. It's only in things that have wheat, barley, or rye. And again, that's, that wheat, that's what manufacturers make all their money off of. Is so because it's so cheap, they can make that cheap flour that's toxic to all of us, but it's all cheap. That's why the vegetable and seed oils they're so cheap to make. Sugar, high fructose corn syrup is so cheap. I mean, they're a business, that's fine. They can make all their money, but I'm not going to give my money to them,
So do you eat out much, or do you struggle? Like, would you try to avoid eating out?
I do try to avoid it. A lot of a couple girls like to go out at lunchtime to eat at work, and like we'll there's a Mexican restaurant we like to go to a lot, and I'll usually get the stir fry, like with no tortillas. And I'm like you, I do like my chips and my salsa, but I don't even want a lot of them anymore. I just eat a few and I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I just accommodate where I'm at, a salad or a burger without the bun. So we with 4 kids, financially, I don't really eat out a lot, but
Yep.
Yeah.
if I do, it's mainly, like I said, lunch. We like a Thai place as well, and I'll do like their, stir fry type dish.
Hmm.
So I've learned to just,
Yeah.
it's not hard. It's just kind of, I want to say common sense, but not really. But
Mhm.
it's easy once you figure out what you shouldn't have.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's just a big complaint we hear from a lot of people, the struggle with
Yeah,
eating out.
The
yeah.
same.
No, in fact, my kids love Chick-fil-A, and I've now when we go, I'll get the grilled chicken nuggets instead of the breaded,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
then I get a fruit cup instead of the fries.
Good
I
deal.
don't really miss the fries a whole lot. I might like steal one from them just to
Mhm.
satisfy my little craving,
Right.
but we had
Yeah.
it just the other night and I was okay. I really was. Um, I don't, I miss it, but I'm okay without it. I don't, I'm
Yeah.
not like, oh my gosh, I gotta have one of your fries.
Right.
I'm okay without it.
Well, it's such a
So
mental thing, it's just,
yeah,
you make that decision in your mind and then you're like, okay. But once you start kind of, it's like, boy, I sure do wish I could have French fries. Once you kind of start talking to yourself like that, you're
yeah,
just behave, when you're going to go in, it's like, nope, I'm not even interested. That's where you want to be.
Yeah.
yeah,
I find
Which
that a
just
lot
sounds like
easier.
where you
You
are.
just treat it like a light switch. You just no. And
yeah,
if you just say no, because once you do that, once you go around food that you shouldn't be eating, and you start looking at it, like, oh my gosh, oh that looks good, oh smell it, oh I bet that tastes good. Once you start doing that mind
yeah.
stuff with you, you're gone. So I don't even start. Once my mind starts doing that, it's like no, just say no, just go on.
Yep.
So have you actually done that where you've gone to a restaurant and ordered your hamburger without a bun, or just saying that? That's what I've said.
No. No, I actually have. Or like at home, my son, he loves my burgers that I make, and I
Mhm.
just put a little bit of seasoning or some garlic,
Yeah.
um, and I just don't need a bun anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's,
Yeah. For dinner
I don't
tonight,
miss it.
I did the same. We made hamburger patties and did an egg and put cheese on it. And then we did some mustard and lettuce. And it's just
Yeah.
so good that you don't even miss the bread.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
So
really
like
don't.
this week, I bought, I think it was like a 4-pack of hamburger patties and cooked them all, and then was kind of just going to eat, one a day. My son ate one, and I just brought some cheese with it,
Mhm.
or I didn't have any tomatoes, but I'll just put a slice of tomato and just eat it like that.
Yeah.
I kind
Yeah.
of like it better that way.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
do too.
Well, you don't get so full and you're just
Yeah,
miserable. Yeah.
I just get
yeah,
used to eating a hamburger with a fork and a knife,
yeah,
instead of picking it up. I mean, that's really the biggest difference was you're going to actually just cut it and eat it with a fork instead of picking it up.
Yeah.
And that makes it different.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mexican, we love Mexican too. That's why. Like, so usually when we go, we split fajitas because that's
Uh-huh.
again, it's just the meat, and that we don't get the shells. We don't do any of that stuff. We'll just and we'll split it. So we'll just get a big fajitas, and then we just put it both on our plates, and that's all we have.
Mhm.
So you can usually do that when you go out. Find whatever your best restaurant is. Just see what kind of
Meat.
meaty problem. Yeah,
Mhm.
what meat thing do they have, and you just wipe out the carbs. And I've
Yeah,
never had anybody, if I've asked for a hamburger without a bun, I've never had anybody even blink. It's like I think they're used to people doing that. So it's the first time I did it, I thought, okay, watch, they're going to think I'm some kind of a freak when I do this. And she didn't even bat an eye. I thought, oh, well, good, because that always makes it easy. If they freaked out every time, you may be more inhibited to do it.
Mhm. Right.
yeah,
That's the other thing. We were just talking to another girl as far as the cost, because everybody says it's so expensive to eat healthy,
mm-hmm.
which is crazy. I mean, it's like we were talking about how people have no idea unless they actually look at it, how much money they spend on all this man-made food that has no nutrients in it at all. So they're
Yeah,
spending this money all the time, and they're eating stuff that's not doing any good for their body, actually making their body worse. So they're going to end up on medicine and doctor bills and all that kind of stuff too. But if they quit spending all that money, and that also makes you want to eat every couple hours. I mean, we were always hungry when we used to eat that way. And once we started doing this way, and you only, once or twice a day, and you don't eat all that other stuff, we saved a lot of money.
Mhm.
And that's what this friend of mine we were talking about. She said the exact same thing. I was wondering, I know your kids aren't doing it, so you may not see a big difference
Mhm.
yet. But I was wondering if you've noticed anything as far as that.
I try to get my son, like so I am a single mom with the 4 kids.
Mhm.
So my son is great. He lives at home with me still. So he kind of helps me with groceries and kind of splits some stuff. And, cause he's living there with me, and
Mhm.
he's amazing helping me out with stuff.
It is.
So he kind of does like the lunch food, and I kind of do the dinner food. So with the lunch food is a lot of his, 2 younger sisters that are in high school take their lunch and stuff. So he comes home and he's got like the little Debbie snack cakes and, the lunch meat and all that stuff that they like, fruit snacks. And I'm like,
Mhm.
Jackson, this is all junk. Like, all this is junk. They really shouldn't eat any of this. And he's like,
Yeah.
that's what they asked for. And I said, he's like, it's just so expensive. I go, Jackson, if you wouldn't buy all this crap,
Mhm.
you could, you'd be able to get whatever else that's healthier. And my girls are good. They're not, they won't not eat it. They
Mhm.
love strawberries and grapes and,
Mhm.
Yeah.
fruits and stuff.
Right.
So, but I've tried to, he is leaning that way. He's eating Greek yogurt. He does eat flavored Greek yogurt, but
That's all right.
he's trying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, another
So
thing we say is we call it fake food. It's
mhm,
not even real food, except it's junk
yeah,
food. That just means it's bad for you. But like fake food, it's not even food.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Food means nourish your body, and
Yeah.
there's nothing in there that nourishes your body. You don't need anything that's in all that food.
yeah,
And if your kids, and again, just like Theresa said, the biggest way you're going to do this is just keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. Oh, that reminded me what I was going to say earlier. But keep doing what you're doing, and they will follow you. And that's where, like, our kids are 27 and 30 now, and they both eat. They both eat healthy. They both work
Mhm.
out. And it was nice because it wasn't always that way, and we just kind of made a switch in our health. And they were probably in junior high or something around there
Mhm.
when we made the switch in our health, and we didn't know if they'd follow us or not.
Yeah,
But
because we did the same thing. They still ate
yeah.
pizza rolls. I fed them horrible.
And then when they go to their friend's house,
we do have
there's
pizza rolls in the freezer right now.
Yeah.
yeah.
We always had pizza rolls, frozen pizzas. We had all of it.
See, and that's different. The big difference back when we were younger. I don't know how old you are. I know you're not allowed to ask, but back when we were kids, the stuff was there, but it wasn't there like it is now. Like it's everywhere. So we didn't eat it all the time. I mean, all these little bags of chips and all this kind of stuff. We didn't
Yeah.
sit around and eat that all the time. We were out running around playing. I mean, you knew it's time to
Yeah.
come in because the street lights have come on.
Yep.
But so everybody's like, well, this stuff has been around forever. Yeah, but we weren't being coaxed to eat it all the time like they are now. And now kids have something in their hands all the time when you see
Yeah,
them.
that's true.
And it's just so sad. But if you stick with it, I think you're going to be happy. I bet they'll come along with you.
Yeah, my son, I mean, like I said, he is trying. So, like, he even got some pizza rolls, but they were cauliflower breaded.
Oh,
So it was a little different.
Never heard of
so
that.
he's looking.
Yeah, so he got
That's
some
cool.
chicken nuggets, and the breading was it was a healthier breading. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't I can't think of what it was, but it
Yeah.
was a healthy chicken nugget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's definitely trying.
Mhm. No, that's
That
perfect.
that's
Yeah.
wonderful. And that's what we get. And if he does it, then maybe he'll,
Rub off
inspire
on his
other,
sisters. Yeah.
inspire some other people. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just need to tell him, just don't buy it. Quit buying their little Debbie stuff.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's a
And
softie
that's
though,
something.
so
Yeah, right.
If
For
they
those
want
little
it, they can.
sisters.
That's
yeah.
it. They can, if they want it, they can use their own money to buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell them that. Then they'll
Yeah.
really hate me.
Well, yeah. Well, it's funny you said that because my 16-year-old got a job at Subway, and her little boyfriend picks her up, and um, she'll be like, go by the gas station. I want to get an Alani. And I'm like, Chelsea, I am not going to use my money and buy you an Alani because you know better than that.
What's a
And
lot?
What is that?
energy drink.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like what's cool for the teenage girls to walk around with an Alani.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, there's all fun flavors and stuff.
Yeah.
And I said, so I stopped buying for her. I refused. Well, her boyfriend runs cross country and stuff, so he's real healthy. He knows, what to eat and all that stuff. He
Mhm.
doesn't have sugary drinks. So he's like, I didn't buy it for her. I'm not the enabler. I'm not going to do that. So they know, and she knows too. And she's heard it from Dr. Dills when she has cleanings. You don't, those are terrible for you.
Yeah.
Whether it's your body or your teeth, it's terrible.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's
So
right.
she knows I won't buy it for her anymore, though.
Oh, good. Good.
And you said your son that's helping you, you said he's 22?
Uh-huh.
No, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
That's perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep. He's a good kid.
There was, gosh dang it. I even told you I remembered what it was, and now I've forgotten again because that wasn't what it was. Well, keep talking all day.
Yeah.
There really was something there that I wanted
So
to ask
is there anything that you wish you would have started sooner? Maybe you can tell people, like, just get started, or anything you have for the audience.
I would say just do it. Walking has been great. My kids are, when I stopped, because originally it was just the month of July, my friend was, wanting us to do, and it came July 31st, and my kids are like, "Are you going to keep walking?" And I said, "Yeah, actually I am." My two youngest girls, we joined a 24-hour gym back in December.
Mhm.
And so when it's raining, I have that to go to, to walk there. It is getting dark earlier, so
Right.
that's kind of a
A bummer.
bummer. But
Yeah.
I do love winter. Like, I'm total snow girl, so
Uh-huh.
I'm kind of looking forward to walking when it's cold outside and putting a
Bundling up.
beanie on and going. Yeah.
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 So
Well, your husky would like that too.
yes, yeah. Yes, exactly. So I feel like nothing's, gonna stop me. I'll be fine. But for everybody else, I would, even a mile or half a mile or, 5 minutes.
Right.
Um,
Mhm.
and you just build it up in a little bit at a time. But as far as nutrition, I would just, for me it was soda. And once you cut out that soda, it just kind of went from there. And now, like, Brett, I just couldn't imagine having like a sandwich or,
Right.
the processed lunch meat. And you just realize you don't want that in your body. It's, like, again, I don't know how to express it, but I just can't imagine putting that in my body now. Like,
Mhm.
Right.
today we had a special little brunch for our hygienist, and there was French toast, there was cookies, there was, all kinds of stuff. I grabbed a piece of bacon and some pineapple, and I was fine.
There.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
I honestly didn't want the French toast. I was fine. It
Yeah.
smelled good, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Sure.
fine with it. So,
Yeah.
you get to the point where you don't want it anymore. And it's a great feeling. It really,
Yeah.
really is.
It's
You
very
feel
freeing.
so much better. Yeah.
Mhm.
And you feel better about yourself, don't you? You feel like, look
Yeah.
at this. I didn't think I could do this, and here I'm doing it.
Yeah.
That's what I see with people, and it worked with us too. I mean, it just exactly like you. It's like you start doing it, and you never knew you could, and then all of a sudden you find out how easy it is. Like, well, this wasn't hard. This was just changing my thoughts was all it was. And then you start feeling better about yourself. And once you do that, then you start thinking, well, shoot, I bet I could do something else. It just kind of propels you into being more of a productive person in general. That from what we've seen, that's what happens when people start losing weight. They feel great. They have more energy, and they just start doing more stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Well, oh, okay.
oh,
Well, I think we've taken up
is that
enough of
somebody
your
telling you
time.
got to go?
No, the cop was checking on me.
Oh, that's
Oh,
nice.
that was sweet.
Yeah, you pulled over to the side of the road to do our interview, so we
I'm
appreciate
just in a
that.
parking lot,
Oh,
but Battlefield
okay.
cops are on top of it out
Oh,
here.
okay.
So
Like, I'm doing a podcast.
That's right.
yeah, I was like,
There's-
stop, it's fine.
That's right. There's a girl over here talking to herself. She's been here about an hour. Need backup.
Well, thank you for taking the time to, do this interview with us. We think your story was just really wonderful.
Oh yeah, and for
I
all
mean,
those people who
really
are
happy for
suffering
you.
from those diseases or
Mhm.
any diseases, man, take heart. You really can clean it up when you start giving your body. Our bodies are amazing. Just give it the nutrients it needs to do its job. That's all it's asking for. And we just
Yeah.
don't. We put toxins in it instead of nutrients in it, and then we get mad because we're sick, obese, in pain. All this is like, well, what else do you expect if that's all you're giving it? So I'm so thankful that you did this. You turned your life around. You're going to turn your kids' lives around. Maybe your
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. But I mean, really, I honestly, I know it was, me and I did it and everything, but between you and Dr. Dills, you're truly an inspiration. I mean, you really were. Your podcasts are just amazingly helpful, and I really, I don't know that I could have done it without you, honestly. I mean, just learning so much through this whole process has just helped me a ton. Getting through, from where I was, you would not have believed what I was eating. So,
Oh,
um, and like I said, the thought of getting out and actually walking, no, I would not have done that. I was sitting on the couch watching Netflix. That was my hobby, like
Yep.
mhm, yeah.
truly.
Mhm.
So I really want to give a huge thanks to you too, Steve, because I really don't think I could have kept going without you and your knowledge. So
Well, thank
I,
you. You're welcome. And I love this. This is exactly why I'm doing it, because there's so many people out there that, because we were that way. We needed help. We got the help and we did it. And now having everybody else start doing this, I just love it. I thank you so much for messaging me on Facebook. That
Mhm.
was wonderful.
I was so excited to tell you.
I could tell. That was
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
About 3 hours later, when I got done reading it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But I do. I thank you so much, and thank you for coming on here, offering to do this, and let other people know that this can be done. And it's not a diet, just like you said. It's a lifestyle
Yeah,
change, because once you realize it, once you understand what you're doing, you can't unlearn that. You can't just go back and stuff. I mean, people can, but why would you? If you're getting rid of your diseases,
yeah,
you're getting rid of your medications, you're feeling great, why would you want to go back? And that's the difference between this and diets. A diet, you will feel horrible, and I've done podcasts on that too. There's a reason why you feel horrible when you just keep eating the same horrible stuff and just eat less of it and think you're going to exercise and burn off the fat. It does not work that way. That's not how it works. The way you're doing it is perfect, because walking is so important for your body and giving your body the nutrients. And I'm just happy. I'm really, really happy for you. I seriously am. So
thank you.
hopefully, do you have any questions for us or anything?
Um, no, I don't think so. One thing that also, I guess I do have a question. With the fruits and vegetables, I know that, it turns into fructose and that whole process.
Mhm.
But I did a long while back, I did eat clean for a little bit. So it was mainly just fruits and vegetables. Um, is that really bad if you're just kind of mainly focusing more fruits and vegetables type diet?
Yeah, are you talking instead of meat and fat?
No, I would still have like eggs and stuff, but I'm finding myself easier to grab some carrots or grab, some grapes and strawberries and, stuff like that. But then I always kind of think in the back of my head, well, I'm supposed to limit this. So
Mhm.
Well,
I need to be careful.
the main thing, it's not so much limiting that, is like, again, you think about what the nutrients are that your body needs, and your body has to have
Right.
amino acids, which is the building block of proteins. That's why meat and Greek yogurt and eggs, and all that. That's why that's so important to have, because you've got to have meat. The
Gotcha.
reason why meat would be better than like Greek yogurt or something is because you're also getting the fat, and we need the fat. The fat's where we get our omega-3s. It's where we get, and omega-6 is where we get our essential fatty acids, but we get a lot of omega-3s, which is what we want, because that's the anti-inflammatory. And if you're just eating fruits and vegetables, you're not getting the fat. So you're not getting your fat soluble vitamins. You're not getting the all the building blocks for cholesterol, and everything that your body desperately needs is vital. Cholesterol that's been so lied to everybody for so long. Cholesterol is so vital to life. And the fact that they're telling everybody get their cholesterol down with these meds is criminal. But so you have to think about, when you eat, if you're just eating plants, if you're just eating fruits and vegetables, even if it's just actual really God-made fruits and vegetables, you're not getting all the amino acids that you need as a meal. I mean, they do have protein and they do have amino acids, but not the same ones, or not all the ones that an animal needs. So you have to eat animal protein to get the animal amino acids. You have to eat the fat, so you're not getting that out of there too. So really, all you're getting if that's all you're doing is plant-based stuff, you are getting some vitamins, minerals, but nowhere near the amount of vitamins and minerals you would be getting in meat. And so you have to eat a lot of plants. You have to eat a lot of plants, just in order to get the vitamins and minerals that you need, which means now you're also increasing your glucose load, because all plants are made out of glucose. And you're
Yeah.
going to have to supplement the fat with fat soluble vitamin, and you're also going to have to supplement some amino acids that you don't get with plants. So that's why it's, and in all honesty, plants are trying to kill us. I mean, plants really are toxic. There's different things that are in there, oxalate crystals and things, lecithin, and just things like that. And so these things, or lectins. And so if you eat too many of them, you really can accumulate that. And a lot of people who eat a lot of plants, especially like kale and almonds and things like that, they have spinach, they have oxalate crystals in them, and they're made because plants are trying to survive. They don't want animals eating them. So they have these toxins so animals won't eat them. Kind of like if you've ever eaten a banana, a green banana tastes real bitter. You don't want it. And that's on purpose because the plant is trying to let that ripen, because that's the ovary. That's what's going to carry the seeds so they can keep having more. And when it's ripe, now it tastes good. So now that's when the animals are supposed to take it and go around and, spread the seeds around the way they do. But other than that, plants don't want you eating them. So just the fact that you're eating them, you are actually eating several toxins also that you have to really be careful about. And people who have like joint pains, a lot of that also is from oxalate crystals, and if you've got anybody with renal stones, that they're usually calcium oxalate stones. That's why the calcium is from our bodies. And then the oxalate is usually from the plants that people are eating that gets that complex and gets kidney stones. So
trying to lose weight, you want to cut back on the fruit.
Yeah.
You can stick with berries. Berries are better, but like you wouldn't want, like most fruit, most fruit anymore. Well, they've just made it sweeter than what it was, 100 years ago. It's just sweeter now, has more sugar in it. So that everybody wants to eat it.
And fructose,
which is still fine to have it every now and then. It's not like you can't have it, but if trying to lose weight, I would definitely steer away.
And mainly because you get that sweet taste in your mouth, and that could trigger a response to where now you're hungry and you want more. So that's what you want to be careful. Fruit is fun because it's prepackaged. You're not going to sit there and eat 7 oranges, or 12 oranges. But if you get orange juice, you can down that with 12 oranges easily. And so you just this huge fructose load, which causes inflammation all over the place and everything. But if you eat the whole fruit, and that's what I say, eat the fruit and eat the vegetables, don't drink them. These smoothies and all this stuff that people think are healthy, they are not. They are not healthy. The only good thing about that is if you are eating fruits and vegetables, you do need fiber because it doesn't stay in your intestines. And if that's all you're having is fruits and vegetables, and then you go and you smoothie it, so you cut up all the fiber, now you're not getting the benefits of that either. So you're just doing nothing but getting a big glucose load in your body. But that's the main thing. It's just always think of nutrients. Where am I getting my protein? Where am I getting my fat? And where am I getting my vitamins and minerals? That's all you need. If you get those 4 things, and then obviously water. But so if you can look at something and say, well, there's no real protein in that, and there's really no fat in that, then that's not going to be a great food. You can eat it, just don't eat that all by itself. But You'll learn all that stuff.
Yeah.
You'll learn all that.
That was a long answer.
All my answers are long. You're the one who started this long conversation thing.
All right, well, let's let her go home.
Okay.
Get her off that parking lot.
That's right. So the cops will quit swarming you.
Well, thank you again. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. And keep in touch. And if you have any questions, you know how to get a hold of me.
Okay. Yes, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for offering to be with us.
Of course.
And everybody out there, as always, thank you so much for listening, and have a fantastic week. And as always, make simple, healthy choices to live a quality life.